Welcome to Outbreak Documentaries, where we look at some of the most famous outbreaks in U.S. history. Today we travel back to time in 2015, where hundreds of families visited Disneyland and brought back more than just souvenirs. Disneyland, the happiest place on earth, became the center of a measles outbreak that spread across several states. In 2014, an individual who traveled to Disneyland became infected with the measles virus and sparked an international conversation regarding vaccine hesitancy. The single outbreak capped 2014 with the highest number of measles cases reported in two decades among trends of non-medical vaccine exemptions in California. Today we will call in two guests, a public health correspondent, Harley, and an immunology expert, Simone. Let's hear from our public health correspondent first.
For having me. Now let's dive into one of America's biggest controversies, vaccinations. Not so coincidentally, the 2014 Disneyland measles outbreak occurred right at the peak of rising vaccine hesitancy in the United States, when anti-vaccine movements and blogs were spreading misleading stories about vaccines. By 2015, the measles, mumps, and rubella, or MMR vaccine coverage among kindergartners was very high, with about 95% of kindergartners being vaccinated, although certain California communities had rates as low as 80% due to personal belief vaccination exemptions from schools. These small gaps in vaccinations were enough for measles, being one of the most contagious viruses, to spread despite having been declared eliminated in the U.S. in the year 2000.
Wow, this movement was enough to bring measles back from the grave. Let's hear from our immunology expert first about how the vaccines actually work.
Thank you. There are currently two vaccines that protect against measles, mumps, and rubella. Both the MMR and the MMRV vaccines can be given at the same time as other vaccines. The MMR vaccine contains a combination of measles, mumps, and rubella vaccines, while the MMRV vaccine accounts for all that the MMR vaccine does, but also against the varicella virus, which causes chickenpox. However, the MMRV vaccine is only licensed for use in children who are between 12 months to 12 years of age. Both vaccines are typically administered to children at two dosages, one at 12 to 15 months of age and the other dose at 4 to 6 years of age. Older children, adolescents, and adults can also receive the MMR vaccine. These vaccines are both live attenuated viruses and work by using a weakened version of the live virus to train the immune system to recognize and fight the actual viruses in case of infection, without actually causing disease upon vaccination. Getting the MMR vaccine is important because the vaccine prevents serious disease. Almost everyone who has not gotten vaccinated against these viruses will get sick at least once in their lifetime if they are exposed. Getting vaccinated can prevent others from getting the virus too, creating something called herd immunity. Both vaccines are effective and very safe. There are no links between the MMR vaccine and autism, and it is also safe for breastfeeding mothers to receive the vaccine, as breastfeeding does not interfere with the immune response to the vaccine, and the baby will be unaffected. The best way to protect yourself against measles is through the MMR vaccine, and most people who are vaccinated are protected for life.
Wow, thank you so much for this important information. Remember, folks, that because of these vaccines, we are able to keep measles at bay for decades. So next time, remember, when you're going to a Disneyland trip, that you and others can be protected with the MMR vaccine, which protects against measles, mumps, and rubella, to protect our communities and keep the magic alive.